Welcome to another session. In this session, we are going to create a functionality to edit and delete stories. Like we previously said, to be able to edit and delete, we can only give the rightful owner that permission to do that. So let's get started. First, what we need to do is we want to determine the owner of each of these stories we have in our database. So let's return to Visual Studio Code. And inside Visual Studio Code, we'll go to the dashboard and pull out the name of the author of that particular story, each of those stories we have in our database. Let's just place it somewhere. We are not going to display that, but we just want to show that for the time being. So let's say by here. Let's just say by, and we have story.author. Story.author. Is it creator? I think it's author. Let's check our template. From our models.py article, okay, yeah, we have author, so that's right, author. Then let's return to dashboard and refresh this page. Now, okay, something happened. There was an error. Let's return there and see what went wrong. Okay, here. So let's refresh and see if we can get the author. Now we have the author here. Oh well, so we have author. Then I need to go into the admin panel and change something here. I want to change the second author. This is Martha. Let's go to articles. Then let's go to this adventurous. I want to change the author to John. Okay, so I change the author to John and I save and I can refresh here. So I have John. And this is 2 hours 57 minutes ago. We want the most recent to come up. So for us to do that, let's return to views, and in this view, where are we loading the story? And that is on dashboard right here. Okay, yes, stories equals to article.object.or dot order by underscore by, and we are going to order it by quotes reverse created underscore art. With this, we should be able to reverse the order. If we refresh and everything goes on fine, space adventurous story should come up while matter should go down. So like this. So we've been able to reverse this. So most recent comes up. All right. Now let's decide. Let's get the person that is currently logged in, because we have gotten the owner of this story and the owner of this story. Now let's get the person that is currently logged in, and as we can see is admin. That means the admin has right to edit or delete this, but does not have right for this. Let's get the button there to do the editing or the deleting. So where are we going to add the button? Let's say we add the button here. I'm going to create a form. So we can do edit. Don't forget we need to pass a CSRF underscore token. Under form, because we are going to give it method equals to what? Post. So here we need to have an edit button. Edit. We need to restart that button because you can see what we have here. Let me see where we are getting that button from. Button. Have any button here? Okay. Margin left 5%. If I remove this line, it's still the same. I don't know where that button is coming from. Okay, yes, I remember the button we added here. Okay, fine. All we need to do is that we need to give it a class. Class btn, and let's start our class btn. Get rid of this. So with class btn, margin 2px00, and let's say 5%, 5px, and let's have a look. Refresh here. We don't want this here, but we have a lot of space here. Okay, we have space there. Let's remove it. Probably is our form. Okay, I think it's our form causing that. So I'm going to remove the form and let's see what we have here. Okay, so it's the form. So let's space this button and let me see what's going to happen here. Okay, so it's the form, and let's see what we have inside the form. We're going to give this form a class, so we wouldn't have that issue. So I'm going to give this form a class and set that class equals to btn-form. So then let's start btn-form. Can we go back here? Now let's see what we have here that is causing that issue. Is margin for our form. Where do we have the form? Here. So this line here, you can see the height of the form. So this is exactly where we have that issue. So I'm going to copy that and adjust that, and you'll see that everything will be okay. So let's give it height of let's remove the height, let's remove the width, and let's just give it a padding of 5px. And then we need to turn off all of this width. Let's give the width of 100px, a height of 100px. Okay, what happened then? Again, everything just disappeared. I can't see the button. Let's check again. Okay, we remove the button, then form action. Okay, so let's put the button back, and we have edit. So here we have the edit, but still not as want. So let's restart this back. So here we have the margin. Let's remove this line. Then the margin here, 5px. Margin top, 1px. So this is better. So we can edit this. If I click, it's returning to the same page. But now what we need to do is Now that we know the owner of this and the owner of this, we only need to see edit button on this admin post, because admin is the rightful owner of this and is the only person that should edit this. Before the form, let's run it at the top here. So to run that, we need to pass the templates, and then we do if the author of this particular what do we call it, story, which is story.author. So if story.author, that is the author of this story, is equals to the user.username. Now when we say user.username, we are going into the users table here. This is where we have all the users, and this is where we have all the username. Here, this is the admin that is logged in. This is the person, the username of the person that's currently logged in. And in this article, we have that admin who created this particular story here. So we are verifying that this user that is logged in, does that user have a post in the articles table? That is the code we have written here. If story.author equals to user.username, then display this button. We are going to end the if statement here. So here, end if, and that will be all. So what we have just done is we want to know if this person that is currently logged in, user.username, is the same person that or has any story in the articles table. If that is true, we can display this button to that user. So let's refresh. If everything works perfectly well, then we should be able to see only this second edit button. And now you see that actually works, and we can only edit this. It's only the owner of this, which is John, that can edit this. So having seen this, what then will be the logic behind this for us to be able to edit this post? And for us to be able to do that, we need to create another link, another URL, and create a view to edit this post. For us to do that, we're going to go to our templates and create a new HTML file, edit story.html. We are going to copy this post, this form we have under add story, because it's the same thing. We are going to paste it here. All we just need to do is probably change the title, edit story. Let's go to url.py, and in url.py we create a path, edit story, views.edit story, and we gave it edit story. We also need to pass the ID of this story, this strpk, because it's going to return only a single story from our database. Once that's done, we need to go back to views.py, and in views.py we'll write the query that will help us to do that, which is similar to the one we have right here, this story. What we need to do is to create a function, def edit story, a request, and pk. We are going to return render request edit story dot html, and we need to have a dictionary that we can work with on the front end. So for us to do this, we need to get the stories just like what we have here. Just copy this, paste that here, and then pass the same dictionary. You can pass the same thing right here into our context dictionary. So once that is done, we can have access to this at the other end. And to have access to that, we need to go back to the dashboard. And from dashboard, we also need to pass the URL. So here we are going to add ahref percentage, closing percentage, and then URL quotes, and the name of the URL is edit underscore story. Then we need to pass the ID. To pass the ID, we just type story.id. So with this, everything should be alright for us to be able to edit that. So let's refresh this page. Okay, story.id. I think there should be space there. Yes. So we ought to leave a space here, but it was closed up, so there was a confusion there. So right now I can click, and now you can see /4, and it's returning to us the previous form we used for creating the story. I will need to remove this button. Let's leave it at this edit. Because obviously it's like we don't even need this button. We don't need this form. We don't need it. We only need a link. So let's remove the form. Let's remove the button. And then let's remove this. Let's return, refresh. Okay, so we can still restyle this, but for now, let's just use it this way. And now we are here, we need to see the information returned to us in this form. We need to populate this field with the story that is linked to this ID 4. For us to do that, we'll go back to views, and inside here, we're going to go back, to edit story. And in edit story, we are going to return those values right here. So let's see what we have inside here. We have stories. So let's return here. Take this away. We don't need this selects. What we need is input field. So we're going to have input. Text, and we're going to give it name, and this is going to be cat's name. Let's see what we have in there and what we use in processing this. Inside the views, so this is what we need: cat's name, topic. Probably let's copy this. Let me paste it here. So this is going to be cat's name. Okay, I think we have every right thing we need. Instead of create story, we can do edit story. edit your story or your post. We are going to return the value, set that equals to stories dot category. So let's see the admin panel and see what we gave it. Yes, cat name. Okay, we gave it cat name as well. So cat name. So that's going to be cat name underscore name. And here also, instead of placeholder, we're also going to give it a value. And that value is going to be stories dot topic value this is also going to be stories dot slug, and request that user, we don't need this, we don't want to change the owner. And then this is also going to be stories dot story. So we can save, and let's return here, and now you can see that we have all these returned: science, matter, and this. So what we're going to do is that we don't want them to change this. We are going to hide this. So let's hide this here. Where is that? Cat name. Let's change it to hidden. Probably we shouldn't even pull that out, but we're hiding that. Then this is the topic, and this is, then we can edit this. So we need to work out the logic that will be able to make us edit this, which is similar to what we did when we were adding the story. So what we need to do is, right inside here, we are going to run that if request dot method equals to post. We are going to grab all those values, and we can just copy paste those values here. So cat name, topic, slug, author, story is exactly what we had here. We are doing the same thing. So now that we have this, we are going to set a new variable, edited story is set to be equals to article.objects. Just like what we have here, you can see article.objects. No, we are not going to do that. This is going to be different. So edited story dot cat name. We're going to pick them one by one. By dot cat name, cat underscore name is set to cat name here, cat underscore name. Then the next is topic, edited story dot topic equals topic. Then we'll do that for the rest. So what we have here, story. I think that's all. So what we need to do now is right here we are going to do edited story equals to this, just like this line we have written here. We are going to rewrite it here, article.object.get, and then id equals to this pk, like this. And once we have set all the available values that we have grabbed equals to each of these, we can now run edited story.save. Edited story.save. So once we run this, we can do return redirect to dashboard. And that will be all for editing this post. Let's try that out. Let's return, refresh, then click. Let's turn this to uppercase, matter. And let's come down here. Let's just say just copied or just edited. They copied. Okay, like this. And let's click on add story. There is an error, multi-value key. Yes, we are not inserting the what do you call it, the author, because we removed that from the form. So let's see. Yeah, we removed that, so that's why it was giving that error. I think I've removed it from there. Let's check the view again. Let's go back to views.py. So we have removed this. Then let's remove it from here as well. Let's save. Then let's refresh. Uppercase here. Let's say just copied. Save. Great. Now let's return there. You can see we have the uppercase here. And let's click to read. Now you can see just copied. But I observed something. Let's go back. Here, instead of saying add story, let's say edit. Or let's say save instead of that. So we're going to change the button to save. So this is going to be save. Then let's reload this page. So that's better. So we have save. So with this, we have successfully run the edit functionality on this post, and we can only edit the story we created by ourselves. So let's create another story. Let's say fiction topic. Something weird. What a weird story. And here, this is so weird. So weird. Okay, now let's save this, add story. And now you can see 0 minutes ago by admin. What a weird story. Something weird. And we have the other ones. And here we have a edit button for this. We also have a edit button for this. So if I click on this, it's going to return this here. So you can see. Now we need to create a functionality for us to be able to delete these posts. Now I want to add that. So this page here, let's go to more. Here, I want to add it here. So let's go to story. We go to story. story.html. Now at the end here, I'm going to add this button, this link tag, a link, and here I'm going to let's say delete. We'll do delete. So we run delete on this, and if we run delete here, let's create the URL for this. Better still, let's see what we have here. And we can only have delete here if this is the owner of this post. So we're going to repeat what we did at the beginning of this episode. And what we did is we added a functionality, an if statement, to check who owns this. So we're going to go back to that story and we're going to run that if statement. So if stories dot author is equals to user dot username, then run this and return this delete link. Then let's open let's close our if statements and if, just like this. All right, let's try this out. Let's go back here. Now we can see that edit here, that delete. Let's go here. Okay, that's to edit. Let's go to more. We can see delete here. Let's click here. We see edit. More. We can see the delete. So that's also working. So let's go back to read more, and we have this delete here. Now we also need to pass the ID of this delete so we can adequately delete that. So to do that, we're going to remove this and pass this template. Let's close that URL, quote, delete. Let's pass the ID, stories.id. Yes, because we have not created the views for this. So let's go to URLs. Where's the URLs for? So in urls.py, we need to create a path for this delete. Path delete / strpk. And then we are going to create a view called delete story. Let's go back to views.py and also repeat almost the same thing that we did here. So why not just copy this? Once this is copied, we can paste it here. Just change this to delete story _ story, and then we return delete story. Okay, for delete not found, okay, there's something we are yet to do. Let's create this delete story.html. So the template, delete story.html. Let's save. All right, I've seen where we are getting it wrong. So the link we are passing is not correct. It's supposed to be delete story. Delete story. And that's what we have, delete story.html. That's why we're having that issue. So let's go back, refresh, and I think it's here. Now you can see now we are here. So it's returning this. Let's go back. Story. So the moment we click here, it's supposed to take us to that delete story. Let's refresh. I'm still saying delete here. So let's go to story. Where is that page? Here. Let's save. I'm still seeing delete here. Refresh. Okay, I'm seeing delete stories. Let's go to the URL. So inside the urls.py, what do we have? Okay, so that's what is returning. Delete story. Okay, so it's supposed to give us delete underscore story. That's where the issue is coming from. So let's refresh. Now we have delete story, and here we are. Now, but we don't have a functionality to handle this delete. So for us to handle this delete, what we need to do is we don't even need to create this template. But the reason why we created this is we want to be sure if the user wants to delete that or it's actually by error. So let's close all of this. Let's close the story, and here we can grab the ID. So we can do stories.id. So let's get the ID. So now we have the ID. So here we are going to create a kind of warning. Let's be sure the person or the owner knows what's going to happen here. Let's see, let's just return a particular template. Let's say sign up. We can copy this sign up page just to get the right here. We're going to remove some things. We're going to have this form. We're going to have this delete, or let's just say confirm. We're going to remove this. So we have a form, and here we are going to pass the ID here. So this is going to be hidden, and here is going to be let's see what happens. We're going to grab the ID here, and that's going to be stories.id. So here is going to be value, and it's going to be stories.id. We are passing it into the value here. This we are going to give it stories.id. That's going to be ID. We're going to do away with these two like this, and then there's going to be let's call this a link. Let's have a link here, href. Let's return to dashboard, or where we are coming from, which is a story. We are returning to story, and here let's just do back. So let's see what we have on this page. Let's refresh. So this is what we have. We have this back here. I'm going to close this button. So we have seen that we have 4 here. If we click on another post we have, which is this one, we see 7. So we are going to hide this inputs. It's going to be hidden. and remove this. And let's create a warning here. Do you want to delete the post? And what do we have here? Do you want to delete the post? Now we need to do a styling for this page. I have a P here. Why are we not getting this? What's going on here? We're supposed to get the styling for P. Let's remove this one. Okay. So we are going to do include here. Let's do include. main.html. Then let's see how it looks like. Okay, so that's it. So here, let's give this button a class. btn-confirm. So let's go to CSS page. Don't know if this is working. Let's see background. Okay, it's working here. Let's move it back. The form, let's restyle our form. I think, okay, yes, we need to restyle our form. Let's give our form also a class. Delete story. Class. Let's do delete form. Let's just copy the styling for form somewhere here. Where do we have that form? Here. So this should be right still. And then this margin 0 to px. This height 20 px, and the width is going to be 10, or let's say 30 px. And then how do we see this? Let's refresh. Now you can see, so this is better. So we can now push this a little bit to the right. So let's push the form. This is what we're gonna have. Dot delete dash form. So it won't affect other forms there. Then let's make it something like 10%. So that's okay. So we need to push this also. We have this inside. Let's copy this, paste it inside a form, and let's see. Okay, so that's nice. So we need to extend the width of the form. So for the form, let's give it a width of 20%. And I think this is okay. Let's the margin top 2%. So that's nice. So we can have delete, or you go back here, and that's the way. Let's click back. Okay, let's click delete. We need to build the functionality for this. So for the back, we are returning to the story page where we're coming from. Here, story 7. So this is where we are returning to. Now for us to return there, we can use a JavaScript code to do that. We can just reroute back, but you should know that we need to pass the ID too. So for us to be able to do that with this template, we can write URL here, story, and then story.id. Story, okay, stories. So it's going to be stories.id. Stories.id. And then close this here. Let's refresh. Go to delete. Now we can go back there. So let's check to be sure that the link is properly working. Let's go to dashboard. Let's click on another link. I think read more, delete, back, and that's working. So now that we can get back, then let's create the functionality for the confirm to delete. For us to do this, we are going to grab the ID of the post, which is what we have captured here under ID. So we're going to go back to views and right here, if request dot method is equal to post ID equals to this value here. So once that is done, we are going to set this, we are going to delete this from the database using this ID. So we are going to do delete post equals article dot objects dot get, where we have this ID, and we can do delete post dot delete. So once that is done, delete post dot delete. This is the variable we pass, and we set it equals to the post that has this ID. So we set it equals to the article that has this ID, and once that is done, we use this variable and we run a delete on that variable and delete this particular post from our database. And once that is done, we are going to do return redirect, and we go back to dashboard. With this, we should be able to delete this post. ID is what we have set to grab from the page where we loaded the story. Let's go back. This is it. So we have hidden our ID here inside this form, and that is the ID we use here to delete this. ID equals to this. The moment we click that delete button, delete post is going to be article objects of get that ID, and we are going to use this variable and run a delete function on it and return to dashboard. So let's go back. Let's return to dashboard, refresh. So right here, let's click on read more, delete, back, we're back here, delete, confirm, and that's all. So we are able to delete that from our database. So you can see the functionality, so simple. We have been able to remove that story from our database. We only have 2 stories left. So, and the way we did it is only the owner of the post that can delete. Let's try and log in with John. Let's log out and let John logs in. John, and we have John. Sign in. Now you can see that John has edits, but this does not have edit. So if we go, we can edit this. Dashboard, read more, delete, and confirm, or you go back. Let's log out. You can log in admin. So the functionality is cool. Now we have come to the end of today's episode on how to edit story or post that is linked to your profile. We'll see you in the next class. Thank you.